At my baby shower, my sister-in-law laughed loudly during speeches, saying, "We should all bet on how long before she screws up as a mother." Everyone froze. I pulled out a voice recording of her mocking my fertility struggles, joking about how she deserved my baby instead. She screamed, threw a glass at me, and ran out, but it was too late. I had already sent the audio to her employer. Within 48 hours, she was fired, blocked by half her family, and had to publicly apologize on social media just to stop the death threats from strangers who saw the story blow up online. Hey, everyone. I need to get this off my chest. It's been months, and I still replay it in my head sometimes. I don't feel bad about what I did. She earned every second of it. I'm 32 female. I live in Cleveland, Ohio with my husband Ethan, who's 34 male. We've been married for 4 years, together for 8. We have a long history, but the short version is, we went through hell trying to have a baby. 5 years of tests, surgeries, failed IVF, miscarriages. You name it, we went through it. It almost wrecked me. Wrecked us. So when I finally got pregnant, it felt like waking up from a nightmare. Every morning I woke up and touched my stomach, still half expecting it to be gone. I wouldn't even buy baby clothes at first because I was scared I'd jinx it. Everyone around us knew how hard we fought for this. People were happy for us. Well, almost everyone. Ethan's sister, Kelsey, 29F, has always been a piece of work. Loud, competitive, always wanting attention. She's the kind of person who turns everything into a joke, but the kind that punches down, not up. If you've ever had someone laugh at your pain and pretend it's just teasing, you know the type. For years she made little digs about me being too sensitive or not maternal enough. Once after a miscarriage, she told me to my face, maybe it's for the best. Some people aren't meant to be moms. Ethan tore into her after that one, but honestly, she didn't really change. She'd back off for a while, then start again. I learned to just keep her at arm's length. Smile. Nod. Gray rock her. It wasn't worth the family fights. But the day of my baby shower? She crossed a line she couldn't walk back from. The shower was beautiful. My best friend hosted it at her house. Soft music, pastel decorations, great food. There were about 40 people, family, close friends, co-workers. I was 7 months pregnant and felt like I was glowing. Everyone was so sweet. People gave speeches. My mom cried. Ethan's mom cried. Even my gruff old uncle said something nice. I was trying so hard not to cry myself. Then it happened. During one of the speeches, I think it was my best friend's, Kelsey was sitting at the back table, glass of champagne in hand, looking bored. When the speech ended and people clapped, she suddenly laughed, loud and ugly, and said, "We should start a betting pool on how long it takes before she screws up as a mom." I swear to God, it felt like the room dropped into ice water. People just stared. Some gave nervous chuckles, like maybe she was joking. Others looked at me in horror. I just stood there, frozen, my hands on my belly. Kelsey smirked like she was so funny, like she had won something. And that's when I remembered. 3 weeks earlier, we had a family barbecue at Ethan's parents' house. I had my phone recording in my purse because I was trying to get a video of my niece doing something cute. I forgot to turn it off. The phone picked up a lot of background chatter. Later that night, when I was clearing storage, I stumbled on it. And there it was, clear as day, Kelsey and one of Ethan's cousins, giggling by the cooler, and Kelsey saying, "I don't know why my name is so obsessed with having a baby. Like it's gonna fix her. Honestly, I'd be a better mom anyway. She's just gonna mess that kid up." I had cried when I heard it. Ethan wanted to confront her then and there, but I said no. I didn't want to be dramatic. I just saved the recording and pushed it to the back of my mind. But standing there at my baby shower, hearing her laugh at me, about my unborn child, something inside me snapped clean in half. Without a word, I walked over to the mic, pulled out my phone, and hit play. The room filled with Kelsey's voice. Clear. Sharp. Full. You could hear her laughing. You could hear the cousin laughing. You could hear her say she deserved my baby more. The silence afterward was so deep you could hear people breathing. Kelsey's face went white, then red. She screamed, "Turn that OFF," and threw a wine glass at me. It missed, shattered against the wall. Someone screamed. Someone else yelled, "What the hell?" And Kelsey, like the coward she is, ran out of the house. I didn't chase her. I didn't even flinch. I just stood there, hands shaking a little, staring at the door she disappeared through. The rest of the day was a blur. My mom crying, Ethan holding me, my best friend wrapping a blanket around me. Half the guests left early, uncomfortable. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Kelsey works at a fancy private school in Cleveland. She's a guidance counselor supposed to help kids. Supposed to be a role model. So I wrote an email. Very calm. Very factual. I attached the voice recording. Explained that the comments were made at a public family gathering. That they showed cruelty and poor judgment toward vulnerable people. I hit send and went to bed. Within 24 hours, Kelsey was placed on leave. Within 48, she was fired. And then the internet got a hold of it. My best friend posted about what happened, anonymously. In a huge Cleveland moms Facebook group. No names at first. But someone figured it out. Then someone else. Then someone posted screenshots from old nasty things Kelsey had said online. Within days, she was getting death threats. She tried to play the victim, tried to post a sob story about being bullied, but nobody bought it. She had to delete everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. She disappeared from the internet overnight. Her parents, who had always babied her, told Ethan privately they were ashamed. Half the extended family blocked her. Finally, through her mom's account, she posted a groveling apology. "I am deeply sorry for the hurtful and insensitive comments I made. They do not reflect who I am." Except they do. They reflect exactly who she is. She has since moved out of state to start fresh. No job. No friends. No support. And me? I'm home, rocking my beautiful baby boy to sleep every night. Every time I look at his little face, I remember. Some battles you fight with fire. Some battles you fight by standing still and letting the truth burn them alive. After everything blew up, I thought that was it. I thought Kelsey would crawl away and leave us alone. I was wrong. 2 weeks after her public apology, I started getting weird messages. Blocked numbers. Private DMs on Instagram. Anonymous emails. Some of them were nasty, calling me a psycho for ruining her life. Saying I set her up. Saying I was jealous of Kelsey because she was naturally good with kids and I was just a bitter, desperate woman. It wasn't hard to figure out who was behind it. Kelsey was too much of a coward to do it under her real name, but she wasn't smart enough to hide her tracks. One of the emails forgot to delete the signature at the bottom, sent from my iPhone, under Kelsey's real full name. I showed Ethan. He was livid. He called his parents. They promised to talk to her. But a few days later, it escalated. Someone reported me to CPS. I got a knock at the door one afternoon. 2 social workers, saying they had an anonymous report of concerns about the baby's safety. I almost passed out from shock. Ethan had to take the baby while I talked to them. They were polite but serious. They had to do a walkthrough of the house. Check the baby's room. Check our fridge, our bathrooms, our bedrooms. They asked if anyone might have a grudge against me. I told them everything. The baby shower. The recording. The online harassment. They nodded. They said honestly it sounded like a revenge call. They get a lot of those. The house was spotless. The baby was perfect. They closed the case in 24 hours. No further action. But the damage was done. I was terrified. Shaking for days. Every time someone knocked on the door, I jumped. Every time my baby cried, I was scared someone would think it meant I was a bad mother. And that's when I realized Kelsey wasn't just embarrassed. She was trying to ruin me. Trying to punish me for exposing her. Trying to rip away the one thing I fought for all those years. I wasn't going to let her win. I hired a lawyer. Showed him the emails. The CPS report. The voicemail recordings. Everything. He said we had enough for a harassment and defamation case. We filed a restraining order. We also filed a civil suit for damages, legal fees, emotional distress, and punitive damages. Kelsey tried to fight it, of course. She screamed at Ethan's parents, blamed everyone but herself, said I was trying to destroy her life over a joke. But we had everything documented. Screenshots, emails, witnesses, the CPS visit, the death threats, the fake accounts traced back to her IP address. When her lawyer saw the evidence, he practically begged us to settle. We agreed, but on my terms. Kelsey had to publicly apologize again. She had to pay all my legal fees. She had to pay damages. And she had to stay 100 feet away from me, my husband, and my child for the next 5 years. She tried to cry her way out of it at the hearing. The judge didn't care. Judgment granted. Full order of protection. Full damages. Full public apology. Kelsey walked out of that courthouse shaking and crying.
No job.
No friends. No family left on her side. And now a permanent record tying her to harassment and a restraining order. Ethan and I went out for ice cream afterward, baby in tow, laughing. For the first time in years, I felt free. But it still wasn't over. Not yet. A few months passed. Things were quiet. Kelsey obeyed the restraining order, at least on the surface. No calls. No emails. No showing up at my door. I started to think maybe she had finally given up. I should have known better. One Saturday morning, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I usually don't answer unknown numbers, but something in my gut said to pick it up. It was the manager of a local daycare. She was polite but firm. She said, "Hi, Mrs. My last name. We just received a reference call regarding your child being enrolled here. Someone claiming to be your sister called in a list of concerns about you. We wanted to verify a few things." My stomach dropped. We weren't even looking for daycare yet. I was still on maternity leave. We hadn't contacted anyone. I asked what the concerns were. The manager hesitated, then said, "She claimed you have anger problems. That there were drug issues in your household. That CPS had been involved for neglect. She said you weren't safe to be around children." I sat down on the kitchen floor and just breathed for a second, trying not to panic. I told her calmly, "None of that is true. We've had harassment issues from a family member. There's a restraining order in place. Please document the call. And please, do not take any information from anyone claiming to represent us unless it's in writing from me or my husband directly." The manager was incredibly understanding. She promised to document everything. She even offered to provide a written statement if I needed it for legal purposes. As soon as I hung up, I called my lawyer. He told me we could now pursue criminal charges, not just harassment, but violating a court order. We filed immediately. A few days later, Kelsey was arrested. They took her in on charges of violating the restraining order, harassment, and malicious false reporting. She spent 2 nights in county jail before her parents could bail her out. This time, there was no sympathy. No excuses. The judge was furious. He extended the restraining order to 10 years, added heavy fines, gave her a suspended sentence, meaning if she so much as breathes wrong in my direction, she's doing real jail time. The fallout after that was even worse for her. Word spread fast. Her last few friends dropped her. Her parents, who had tried to stay neutral, cut her off financially, said they were done enabling her behavior. Kelsey had to sell her car, move into a tiny apartment 2 towns over, get a job waiting tables under a fake name because nobody in Cleveland would hire her anymore. She became a pariah. She had no one. And me? I finally felt like I could breathe again. I spent my days rocking my beautiful son, singing to him, taking walks in the park,
Smiling.
laughing, living. Kelsey had tried everything to tear me down. She ended up destroying herself instead. But even after all that, there was still one last thing she tried. One last desperate, disgusting move. And that's when it all came crashing down for real. I didn't think Kelsey could sink any lower. I was wrong. About 3 months after her arrest, Right when I was starting to really enjoy my maternity leave, I got another phone call. This time from Ethan's cousin, Jenna. She sounded panicked. "You need to sit down," she said. "You are not going to believe what Kelsey did." Jenna told me that Kelsey had started a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe, pretending to be me. She used an old photo she stole from my husband's Facebook, a maternity photo of me smiling, cradling my belly. She made up a whole sob story about how I was a single mom abandoned by the baby's father, struggling to survive, and desperately needing donations to keep the lights on and feed my baby. She even faked messages from me, thanking people for their support. She raised almost $2,000 in less than a week. That money went straight into an account with her name on it. I couldn't even speak when Jenna told me. My hands were shaking so bad, I dropped the phone. Ethan had to pick it up and finish the call. This wasn't just harassment anymore.
This was identity theft. Fraud.
We called the police. We called the GoFundMe fraud department. We called our lawyer. Everything moved fast after that. GoFundMe shut the page down immediately. They flagged her account for fraud. Police launched an investigation. Subpoenaed the account records. It was crystal clear. It was her. She left a full digital trail. Emails, logins, withdrawals. No way out of it. 2 weeks later, Kelsey was arrested again. This time, there was no bail. This time, she was charged with felony fraud, identity theft, and violation of a protective order again. The court date was brutal. She tried to cry. She tried to say she was mentally unstable and not responsible for her actions. Her public defender tried every excuse in the book. The judge wasn't having it. He called her behavior deliberate, malicious, and predatory. He said she showed no remorse, only regret for being caught. He said she was a danger to the community and to her own family. Then he sentenced her to 5 years in prison. Real prison. Not county jail. Not probation. 5 full years. She started sobbing in the courtroom, screaming at the judge, screaming at Ethan, screaming at me. They dragged her out in cuffs. Her parents didn't even show up. They were done. Nobody visited her. Nobody wrote to her. Nobody cared. She was just gone. As for me, I lived. I healed. I thrived. I raised my beautiful son in peace. I watched him take his first steps, say his first words, laugh his first big belly laugh. All without fear, without pain, without someone lurking in the background trying to destroy us. Sometimes I drive past the empty house where Kelsey used to live, the for sale sign still up, weeds growing through the driveway. And I smile, because some people destroy themselves trying to destroy others. And when they do, you don't have to lift a finger. You just have to stand tall, tell the truth, and let the fire consume them. She tried to steal my happiness. She lost her freedom instead. And that is the story of how I got revenge, not by stooping to her level, but by letting the truth finish what she started.